The latest on the Dallas Cowboys from training camp is made possible by Manscaped. You can get 20% off and free shipping when you use promo code COWBOYS over at manscaped.com. We've got some more Dak Prescott extension talk to begin today's show as Jeff Howe of The Athletic seems to be doing a bit of a training camp tour, and these are always a little bit dicey for me because they tend I'll call them the more national reporters come flying in. They drop a tidbit of information, then bounce, and sometimes that information they dropped is either a bit outdated or sometimes maybe just a bit exaggerated. He reports the Cowboys and Dak have had contract extension talks, which isn't actually new, and there's nothing imminent at this stage for the Cowboys. Now, an extension, and this is part of the argument he lays out here, would lower Dak's 2024 cap hit. Wouldn't carry much, if any, impact on the 2023 cap hit. But next year, when you'll start to feel more of those extension numbers hit from guys like, potentially Terrence Steele, CeeDee Lamb, etc., Trayvon Diggs will be felt a bit more, then it starts to make sense there. Here's what Jeff Howe of The Athletic wrote on the Dak extension talk. Says the Cowboys and Prescott have had early discussions about a new deal, according to a league source. Doesn't sound like anything is imminent, but there's obvious motivation to knock down that 2024 cap hit while they address potentially massive extensions for Parsons and Lamb. Now, this isn't really new information. There have frankly been a lot of talks, not just between Dak and the Cowboys, but between Dak and Lamb. There's been approached conversation between Dak and Steele. The Cowboys kind of under the radar got an entire deal done with Malik Hooker and the Cowboys. So what gets tricky and complicated here for this particular deal is just the sheer volume of money involved. It is such a massive contract. There's natural sticker shock involved. And the quarterback market only continues to go up. It's not that long ago in which Dak was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, and people were very, very upset by that because it was so much money. But then, Matthew Stafford and Josh Allen and Mahomes and less deserving quarterbacks like Deshaun Watson, Massage Boy, and Kyler Murray got huge deals. Now Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert have all reset the market all in a row, and Joe Burrow will also reset the market. I don't think a Dak extension has to put him at the top. I think it could put him above where he's at currently. Maybe somewhere between that Wilson-Watson deal is fair, given what those three players look like since they got paid. Answer's not very good. You're worried about the way Dak's played. He's better than those dudes. But the question of the day is this. Would you extend Dak Prescott? I have an idea that I know not everyone will agree with, but I think enough can get on board with the logic behind it that maybe it won't be as divisive as it normally is in the comment section. So go vote at the pinned comment first. Why for yes and for no? Would you guys extend Dak Prescott? Look, extending Dak does get his cap hit down in 2024. And I think that is important to remember when you've got other guys to pay. When you want to pay Micah, and you want to pay Lamb, and you've already paid Trayvon Diggs, and you in theory could give some more money maybe to Zack Martin as well. So here's my plan. I think it makes sense, of course. Maybe you guys agree or disagree. My plan, and this will be the controversial part, extend Dak this offseason. Don't wait, because then you lose even more leverage when Dak can't be franchise tagged next year. He has a no-trade clause, and you kind of enter a dangerous position where he's got all the leverage over you. Do a 4 or 5 year deal, whatever it looks like. I'm not actually that concerned. And what I would do in this new window you've created for your 30-year-old quarterback is to push hard to win in that window. You know those deals for Gilmore and Cooks we've all liked so much? Do more of those. Know how you've been near the bottom of cash spending? Don't be anymore. And what I would do is maximize this window, that 4, 5, 3, whatever year long it ends up looking like window, and go try to win some damn football games in January and February. If you win, we are all happy. We are all excited. We are all over the moon. If you don't, if your window is bad and things do not go the way you want, maybe you fire McCarthy, new head coach is a disaster, whatever, at that point, you tank and rebuild. Because the alternative here is if you don't want to pay Dak, he's got leverage over you, now you're overpaying. Again, you spend more money than you needed to if you had just done it earlier. And I am of the mindset, either have a highly paid quarterback or have a cheap one on a rookie contract. What you do if you kind of try to play the middle ground of you give Dak a little deal, but you don't go all the way in. If you don't tank and rebuild, then you're caught in the middle. You're caught in this commander's range where you have a good team overall, but you don't have the franchise quarterback, and you're going to win 6 or 7 games and be outside the range to get that top pick anyway. So you should actually embrace the suck. And at that point, that backloaded contract doesn't matter because you want to have less cap space, so it's easier to tank and get that top 3 pick to draft whatever next great quarterback you think you can find in the NFL draft. Now, today's show is made possible by Manscaped. You can get 20% off and free shipping on all their top-of-the-line men's grooming products with promo code COWBOYS. That includes the Performance Package 4.0. It's got the Lawnmower 4.0, the #1 product in below-the-waist grooming. The Weed Whacker, good for you, or maybe it's your dad with some iffiness in terms of the ear hair and nose hair. Ball deodorant, because if your armpits stink, your balls probably stink, and that's even worse. Oh, and the most comfortable boxers known to mankind. So check out the comments section and the description of today's show. It's manscaped.com. Promo code COWBOYS gets you 20% off and free shipping on everything from Manscaped. Some Cowboys training camp takeaways here. Luke Schoonmaker has been activated off of the NFI list and practiced today for the Dallas Cowboys. Finally caught a padded practice pass, that's a tongue twister, from Dak Prescott. Hopefully he plays in the preseason. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, at least for week 1. I want him to string together some good days and get going since he's playing catch-up right now. More injury notes. Ronald Jones will miss some time due to a groin injury. I highly doubt he ends up playing against the Jags. A rough training camp for Jones continues. Both CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard did not participate today. It was undisclosed for CeeDee Lamb. Something tells me Mike McCarthy will say it's GPS management, which he did last year. Lamb had a bit of a tight groin or hamstring. Wouldn't be shocked if that's the case again, but he was all smiles and laughing when he was walking out there, so not worried about him. Tony Pollard, personal reason, did not practice either, just meant more reps for your young backs. Brandon Aubrey, meanwhile, is the lone kicker, with Cowboys owner Jerry Jones claiming, emphasis on claiming, that they're comfortable going into the season with him. He was 7 of 9 today. He missed from 43 and 44. He's at 75% for Cowboys training camp, including the Mojo Moments. Not good enough, but better than Tristan Vizcaino. Still not convinced he's your answer at kicker. Now, if you have not already, please subscribe. We are 162 subs away from 157,000 here at the Cowboys Report. We are right on the precipice. Hit that sub button for more free videos each and every single day. Let's check in on the latest with the Zack Martin saga here. He is still not present at training camp. Interesting note from Bobby Belt, by the way, on his podcast, Love of the Star. Good listen, by the way. He says teams have called Dallas, and the pitch has been, hey, we know you're not going to trade Zack Martin. In the event you do, give us a call. Kind of like you go, hey, I know you're not interested in you, but if that ever changes, call me. That's what that is, which I'm not surprised by that. I'm not overly concerned about Zack Martin still holding out. I kind of figured, didn't show up for the first practice. Maybe he'll be back when the team gets back to Oxnard and just don't bother coming out to California. I also don't think this should just be swept under the rug of, who cares? He'll be good to go for week 1. That's true, but it also isn't a good thing that your team captain is not out there. The Cowboys are giving Brock Hoffman some decent reps at right guard today because Josh Ball ain't it. I've been underwhelmed by TJ Bass. Matt Farniok, I don't love him. God forbid you have to play one of those backup guards. It's dicey. And the biggest leverage point that Zack Martin has, and it's a dangerous one because there's big fines if it does not show up, is, hey, you're going to go play the Giants and Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams, Josh Ball or Matt Farniok or Chuma Adoga or somebody else at right guard. That's terrifying for your offense, and I don't think Mike McCarthy would like that one very much. So what is your concern level over Zack Martin's continued holdout from the Cowboys? 1 to 10. I haven't really changed it yet. It will jump up again if he's not back for when the Cowboys are back in Frisco. But go vote for me. 1 to 10. 1 low end, 10 high end. We're somehow doing this again, too. Zeke Elliott potentially returning for the Cowboys. Same report of Jeff Howe, of The Athletic, says the Cowboys are still in the mix to add Ezekiel Elliott, which goes directly against the face of what I would say the more connected Cowboys reporters are, saying Dallas doesn't have interest, and maybe this comes a bit more from the Zeke camp to get his market going a little bit. He says the Patriots still have heavy interest, even though they did not sign him after his visit. He mentioned the Jets as a destination for Zeke, which is worth mentioning because A, the Jets have had interest in Dalvin Cook, and B, the Jets were on Elliott's original list. Remember, it was Philly, New York, and Cincinnati, which did not materialize at all. It's kind of the same, here we go again, where, look, Zeke's market's been bad. It is August, and there has not been very much buzz on him getting signed anywhere. And I think the thing that's true for everybody else is also true for Dallas. They kind of want to see what the young guys can do. And I do as well. I want to see what Malik Davis can do in a bigger role than the brief one we saw last year. This team has liked Rico Dowdle for a while. Deuce Vaughn is a player I personally am excited about. And if those guys are bad in the preseason, if those guys are bad in practices and the team goes, I don't know about this one anymore there, Jim, okay, or if there are injuries again, okay, then you can explore bringing back Zeke. But the role has got to be different. I think you're talking about cutting his touches by half at minimum. I can find 3.8 yards per carry. I can find 4 yards per carry, I think, with Malik Davis or Rico Dowdle or Deuce Vaughn, or I can go sign a different, younger, cheaper back. And I don't have interest right now. That could change, could very well change based on what else happens. But right this second, I'm passing. He just doesn't have the same juice that he had in his prime. So what do you think? Do you want to bring back Ezekiel Elliott? S for sign, P for pass. You guys can sound off in the comments section. No wrong answers. It's all about your opinion here on the Cowboys Report. We will wrap up with some Mike McCarthy surprise hot seat conversation. He is currently the betting favorite to be the first head coach fired, which I was actually kind of surprised by. Maybe that was just the attention grab. Mike McCarthy is plus 500 at the moment, so pretty steep odds anyway. Todd Bowles plus 600. Ron Rivera plus 700. Remember, new ownership with Washington. Don't underestimate that fact. Josh McDaniels, same odds. Dennis Allen plus 900. I've got some thoughts here why I don't think he'll be fired, or at least the first head coach fired. But do you think he'll be the Cowboys head coach at all next year? A for yes, B for no. This is your chance to vote in the comments section. A is the ideal outcome. In theory, emphasis on theory, knowing the Jones boys, that means that the Cowboys had great success, and they chose to keep McCarthy for another year, extend him because they made it to a championship game or even beyond that there. So go vote. A for yes, B for no. I doubt he's the first head coach fired. I believe, as we typically see this each year, somebody gets canned mid-season. Someone starts the year with expectations, and then they're sitting there, they're 4-10, whatever, and they pull the plug and they're out. The Cowboys, barring disastrous injuries, should still be in contention come December, if not already in the playoff mix, playoff spot, whatever. So because of that, I don't think McCarthy ends up being the first head coach fired. Frankly, I think if he does get fired, it's probably after the year ends or even after the playoffs end. So I would say it's fairly reasonable to think that McCarthy will not be the first head coach fired. So I don't like those odds at plus 500.